Chuck Pinocchio. He's the Executive Director of Healthcare for All Pennsylvania. He's the one that's going to help us bring single payer to Pennsylvania. He probably puts more miles on his car between here and Harrisburg than we put in our cars in 5 years. So if we can have Chuck come on up here. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Philadelphia. This is ground zero. We are standing at ground zero in the battle for the single-payer solution, the only demonstrated method of funding health care for all is the single-payer solution. That's right. That's right. Since this campaign for the state initiative kicked off 5 years ago, every step along the way, we've had naysayers. Those who say, you can't get the governor to commit to signing this legislation after it's passed. We've done it, and we've done it 3 times. We have the governor on record saying he'll sign our bills once they pass. House Bill 1660 and Senate Bill 400. The naysayers say you'll never get an audience with Republicans, let alone getting Republicans on with the bill. And the fact is that this is the only campaign in the country that now has a Republican signed on, Representative Tom Mertz from Montgomery County, the only one in the nation. And by way of update, I met last week in Indiana County. Diane mentioned that I drive a lot. For 5 hours west, I drove to Indiana County. How many folks here have been to Indiana County? How many people know that Indiana County is in Pennsylvania? By the way, there's a great coffee brewery, a great coffee house right down the street from Don White's office. But Senator Don White chairs banking and insurance. Everybody to a person told me you'll never get anything out of Don White because he's a 25-year health insurance broker. Listen to this. Don White's daughter is interning. She's a physician in practice and training at Christiana Hospital in Delaware. He wants her to come back to the state of Pennsylvania to practice medicine. Because of the convoluted nature of healthcare funding in Pennsylvania, she can't come back home. The point I want to make here is that you've got to talk to everybody you know, because conservatives, moderates, liberals, folks on the left, folks on the right, healthcare is personal. It hits home, even for Don White. Don White promised us, and he's got this in writing. We've got this in writing. I've got this on tape. I've had him reconfirm it with his chief of staff. He's promised us the first in the nation Republican-chaired healthcare committee hearing for September of this year. This is no casual matter. This is something that I've talked to Hill staffers on both the Democrat and Republican side, and they are absolutely shocked to a person that Senator Don White would permit such a hearing. Moreover, this week he's coming together with my state senator, Republican Chuck McElhenney from Bucks County, to talk about supporting our economic impact study. Once the economic impact study is passed in the House and the Senate, the numbers for single payer will scream out for attention and help to grease the skids of the legislative process. We are taking forward steps every single day. Pennsylvania is ground zero because we adopt single payer in Pennsylvania and then it quickly becomes the law of the land. John Conyers gets this, Bernie Sanders gets this, Jim McDermott gets this. Anybody who's paying attention to our Constitution, because powers are divided between the nation and the state, we have an opportunity to get it right here in the state of Pennsylvania, knows that this is the quickest path to the single-payer solution at the national level. Finally, these are words I think that are important to keep in mind. When Mahatma Gandhi was reflecting backward, when he was looking in retrospect as to how his Indian national independence movement succeeded against the greatest power in the world, the British Empire, He said, in observation, he said, first they ignored us, then they mocked us, then they attacked us, and that's when we won. Right now, single payer is under attack. We're on the verge of victory. 2009 in Harrisburg, 2010 in Washington, D.C. We're on the way. And then finally, June 11th, come join us in Harrisburg. Join us in Harrisburg. We've got the endorsement and participation of AFL-CIO, League of Women Voters, PASNAP, 1199C, Council of Churches, AFSCME, the list goes on and on and on. June 11th, I've got flyers if you need one. Lanny has flyers, other folks have flyers. Come join us in Harrisburg. We're going to fill the rotunda. We're going to fill this message. We're going to lobby. We're going to win. Come join us on June 11th, 11:30 in Harrisburg. Thank you all. On to victory this year.
I think Chuck is the only person that could ever make me clap for a Republican.